Phatman here, and this is our weekly Netcast podcast for the second week of April 2012.
And I'm Littleboy. I guess this isn't the Phatman and Littleboy show anymore. It's just Phatman.
Well, what did I say?
You said, hi, Phatman here. Like, it's just all yours.
Well, I'm sorry, Littleboy. I apologize. This is the Phatman and Littleboy show.
Thank you.
Hello, Littleboy. How are you?
I'm doing just fine now.
We have a special guest on the line today. This is Bill from northern San Diego. Hello, Bill.
Howdy, Phatman. How are you?
Good. Can you guys hear him okay?
I can hear him.
All right.
He seems a little bit quiet, but I can hear him. Thanks for coming on the show today, Billy.
You bet. My pleasure.
We actually have quite a few topics today, and I wanted to first talk about our sponsor, goldandsilver.com.
Yes.
As I've said every week, and I'll say forever, goldandsilver.com. If you go to phatmanandlittleboy.com, click on any of the links for Gold and Silver, you could find out how you can invest in gold and silver. And in this volatile economy with a president who's just printing paper money every day, maybe you need something that will sustain.
Is that going to be part of your selling point every single time?
That is.
Oh, geez.
Anyway, check out goldandsilver.com from the Phatman and Littleboy site. You can learn about how to save money and invest in gold and silver. And I believe Bill has invested in gold and silver. Bill, haven't you?
Just a wee bit.
Yes.
Not too much.
And is it for the same kind of reason that I'm talking about, Bill?
Well, it's a little savings account because the price of precious metals goes up, when the dollar goes down. So it returns a better rate than sticking it in a bank account for 1.5% to 2%. So.
Sure, and just like I said, when you get a president that decides to print paper,
oh brother,
the dollar gets further and further below.
Also, for all of you out there, we do stream live every Monday night. Most of you will be watching this through our website. But we stream live at 6 o'clock Pacific Standard Time at phatmanandlittleboy.com, and you can always call in at 619-387-3457, like Bill did.
Exactly. And if you're watching this on YouTube, welcome to our new YouTube page at youtube.com/PMLB Media. Of course, we'd rather you watch it from our website, but you can see it from YouTube as well.
Right.
On our website is the high-definition copies at phatmanandlittleboy.com, and that's PHATMAN.
Right.
So.
You probably know that by now.
Well, yeah, but when I say it. Littleboy, I would normally say, how was your week, except that this week you loaded our board with stuff to talk about.
Right. We won't get to all of it, but I found some really interesting stuff to talk about, and I wanted to see what you thought about some of it.
Throw out the first one.
Well, the military board, the Tea Party Marine who slammed Obama on Facebook, they recommended that he should be dismissed. And I was curious about this. What do you think about this?
What do I think about this?
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think that everybody has the right to voice their opinion, but when you're in the military, whether you like your commander-in-chief or not, right, you have to respect your boss.
Well, yeah. One of the things is you don't sign up for the military and say, and whatever oath, whatever you have to take and say, all this is only good as long as I'm happy with, as long as the president that is the president that I want. That's not how it works. You're either in or you're not. Yeah. It shouldn't matter on the president. I'm big on free speech. But I think this is a little bit different. This is kind of almost undermining the commander-in-chief, and you got to be real careful. I can do that, but you're held to a little bit of a higher standard when you're in the military, I think. So I think you need to be careful. What
do you think on this issue, Bill?
Well, I kind of agree with you guys, so it's going to be a short topic.
That's fine.
I'm right on board with that. I mean, free speech is great for citizens of the United States, but when you join the military, you don't. It's your commander-in-chief. Right. There's a code of ethics there, and I think that guy stepped over the line. And if you aren't into that and you're not interested in that, then don't join the military. There's no draft in the United States. It's a choice. You choose to join the military, right. And if you're going to make that choice, then it comes along with certain. Yep.
Well, it's funny.
In situations like that, you're like you said, Littleboy, you're gonna have some presidents that you like their policies and some that you don't. Right. But the fact is, he's the boss. So
exactly.
you know, you got to go with the boss there.
Right.
Yeah, you have to do what the boss.
And it's not even like a regular job. You know, here in California, I'm not sure what the laws are, but you're an at-will employee. You can quit any time. When you're in the military, it's not like that.
Well, no, not want to get an honorable discharge. No.
Right. You can't quit any time. Whereas you know, if you have a regular job and you are not happy, they change bosses and you get a new boss, you can quit. You can just leave them. But that's not how it is in the military. You know, and you know that when you're going in.
Well, you know, it's interesting.
You know,
go ahead.
I could say something else. It's not smart.
Right.
You know, and I wouldn't do that to my boss. If I disagree with my boss, I could respectfully say, hey, I disagree with your policy that you're going with here, but I don't have to call him a jerk in front of everybody in the world.
That's the thing that gets a lot of people in trouble is they think that Facebook. I don't get that. You know, we use Facebook for business, and I have my personal Facebook account, but people put stuff on Facebook. They're idiots because everybody in the globe can see that.
Exactly.
You know, and if you're in a position where you're in the military and you're slamming the president, well, you're just an idiot.
Right. It's.
I mean, do you not know that?
Yeah, it's pretty foolish.
Yeah, I think so too. And you know, it's funny because we had to talk about the guy with his daughter, you know, and how that got really big, and people get in a lot of trouble on social media. They really do. And if they don't know by now it's going to happen, then they're just being stupid.
Exactly.
Because they know.
Exactly.
They know. They're not. I mean, nobody in the. Well, I don't say nobody. I know a few people. I mean, I sit next to one that's pretty dumb. But what I'm saying is,
no, you're sitting next to me.
Yeah, there is people who make mistakes that I can't believe, you know. So.
You know, you think about, you know, this guy's an adult. You think about, you know, the things that sometimes that the kids put up on the internet and stuff like that.
Kids, that's a whole different story.
One of the things
that
I've explained to both of them. I have 2 young daughters. I've explained to them is anything that you send via text or you post on the now they neither one of them have Facebook accounts, but anything that you email or you text or anything, just assume that your grandma and grandpa can see it.
Yeah.
Because eventually it will get to them. If it's something that anybody else would be interested in, it will get there. And the second you put it out there, it's there forever. It's never going away.
Exactly.
It's not like on paper where you can burn it and get rid of it. It is there forever.
Well, let's start talking about another issue that we had on there that you had for red light cameras. Now, you know, I almost want to skip it and come back to it, but let's do it.
Okay.
Red light cameras here in Southern California have been a kind of, the way I view them is that they're really not law enforcement more than revenue generating. We do have a lot of issues with people running red lights. Now, Bill, which is interesting, is where he works, the city he works in San Diego, is the highest amount of red lights per any other city. Yeah. So I think you would have some good insight on this, Bill. But what I don't see about red lights, I don't see, other than revenue generating, I personally don't see the benefit.
Well, that's what the debate is whether or not these things are just, are they actually saving lives? Because ultimately the reason why you would do it is to save lives. You're not even just looking to...
That's what you would hope.
Right, that's the reason. Now, the debate is whether or not, are they actually there to save lives or are they to generate revenue? Because the problem that I've always had with red light cameras is the fact that the companies that own them and operate them and calibrate them get a percentage of the tickets that they generate.
I have a total issue with that.
So it's in their best interest to catch red light, you know, people going through red lights. And it, you know, I'm not quite sure. I think that defeats the purpose of the red light camera.
What do you think there, Bill? Because like I was talking about, you were in that city.
Well, the same thing. I know that I've heard. Now I don't have any data to absolutely back this up, but what I've heard is that they end up causing more trouble, more safety issues than they're trying to prevent.
Yeah, like rear-end collisions?
You get people slamming the brakes on because they know there's a camera there. They're afraid to enter the intersection on a yellow at all because they're afraid they'll end up getting stuck and then they get hit with this big ticket. And so you end up with a lot more fender benders, at least that's what I've heard, than you did before the cameras were there.
I think I hear the producer clicking in.
The producer has a brief comment on it. Has anyone else other than the producer ever gotten a red light ticket? Because producer Jen did. It was, I guess you'd say it was my fault. They show you a video. They give you everything else. But at the same time, what they don't show is kind of what Bill's talking about. If in the situation that I was in where I had pulled out onto the street right almost at the intersection and went through the light, if I had pulled out and slammed on my brakes, I probably would have been rear-ended.
Right.
So it doesn't do that kind of information for you. The other thing is that who's giving you the ticket? Because the way I look at it, if I'm getting a ticket, there needs to be somebody who saw what I did,
exactly.
Not some camera who says, guess what, you were bad.
Right. I agree, and I've never gotten a red light ticket. What Bill had said is a great point, and I had almost forgotten about that. The fact that I think that they might cause accidents.
I'm sure they cause people slamming on the brakes. I know I slam on the brakes every time I see that sign.
Right.
And I know the sign's up behind us, I think, and you see those everywhere.
And the thing is, I'm all for catching people breaking the rules. I don't like it when people break the rules. You know that.
Yeah.
You know, I don't run red lights. I don't run through, especially camera ones, but I don't run, if the lights turn red and I can stop, I stop. I don't jam on the gas and go through it. I like people being able to be caught, but I'm not a big fan of the red lights. The red light cameras, I just don't like them.
The other one little opinion I have on this is I bet that sticking up the signs without the cameras and without actually taking pictures would probably do the exact same thing.
You're right.
You know what? I bet you she's right on that.
I bet you
she's right on that, definitely. All right. Well, listen, we got to keep rolling through that. The red light issue, I know that they've had I don't want to stay on this any longer, but I know that there's a lot of contesting in court. You're supposed to be able to confront your accuser. They're having some issues with that. But we haven't seen it in the Supreme Court. And I think once it hits that much, goes that far up, which I don't understand why it isn't. Maybe because it's infringement. I don't know. Maybe because it's just an infraction. I don't know why it's not really moving through the court system. But I think someday it'll come to that, and I think they'll deem it unconstitutional. I think it's just going to take some time to do that. Now, Bill, you probably remember, and I just remember this as being a really young child here in California, they were able to pull you over to do a vehicle inspection. And they deem that unconstitutional. Do you remember that, Bill?
Are you trying to say that I'm really old, or what's that about?
Exactly.
Vehicle and no, I don't remember that, to be honest with you.
Well, you might not have lived here then, but in California they used to be able to pull you over to do a vehicle inspection, and they found that was unconstitutional, and that was years back. So.
Oh, is that like an privacy issue, or what?
It was, and now what you have to do now, not in California, but a lot of other states, and there's people that watch us from all over the country, and I'm sure that they know exactly what I'm talking about. You have to get a yearly or every couple of years inspection on your vehicle. That's different because it's an actual, just like we do with our smog, they have to go in and have their car inspected, and they get an inspection sticker. That's just a safety inspection, but what it used to be is they would just come, pull you over. So, but, we're going to keep moving on. Now, this one I thought today, this is O'Keefe. Now, O'Keefe, he is an investigative reporter, and he went to our Attorney General, Eric Holder's home city. I mean, not even state and county. Right to his city, went to the Register of Voters and asked for a ballot using his name. The video is playing behind us, and you can find the link on our website to the video. Basically what he did was he went there, he said, I'm Eric Holder, this is my address, I'd like to have my ballot. Now, while he was doing that, the guy who was looking through the paper said, okay, he says, well, I don't have my ID. And the guy said, you don't need your ID. He said, I just really would feel more comfortable if you asked me for my ID. And he says, you don't need your ID. There's no reason to. If you're Eric Holder and you're saying you're Eric Holder, here's your ballot. Now, the reason why he did this is because earlier he had an interview with the Attorney General, and he asked him, he said, sir, do you believe that there's voter fraud in this country? And he said that there's no proof that there's a problem. So to go out there and do this and actually get the guy's ballot, now what he did to keep himself from going to jail is he did not accept the ballot. When the guy was going to hand him the ballot, he said, I'm going to go grab my ID, I'll be back in a minute. And he just never came back, of course. So do you believe that there's voter fraud?
Well,
we've talked about this before. But also, do you believe that that we should have identification?
What would happen if the regular Eric Holder came to vote after that and he was crossed off the list?
He wouldn't be able to get his
That's not true.
He could fill out a provisional ballot.
Right.
Yeah, then they inspect the signatures.
Right.
Except if you watch this more, because this video had that on there, he also went in with his hand all bandaged up and says, I can't sign. And the guy said, I'll sign for you. So basically they wouldn't even be able to compare signatures because they would say,
the real Eric Holder would have come in and signed, and it would have matched his real signature.
But they don't see provisional ballots are only for recounts, or if
they're not only for recounts.
Yeah, but they don't even count provisional ballots if they're not necessary.
I don't think that's true.
That is true. That is absolutely true.
You mean like if it's such a
landslide, they don't even do it.
Okay.
But the problem is, what if that provisional ballot was for the opposite side? What if Holder's Democrat? So he's going to vote Democrat. But what if a Republican went in and used his ballot to vote Republican? Even if it was a landslide or a wide margin, and it wouldn't matter. Every vote is supposed to matter. So, you know what I'm saying? Now, what do you think about that, Bill?
Well, I'm a big proponent of being able to prove that you're a citizen of the United States and you have the right to vote. So, just what bothered me about what you just said is that the guy's going, well, you don't really need an ID. We'll let you be whoever you want to be, and you can vote. And I don't go with that at all. I think everybody should have to prove who they are and that they're on the registers, right, for voting, and not people just walk up and vote, because that's the kind of place where fraud can run rampant if you can do that.
Well, when we've talked about this before, and we've actually looked into this before, and you can find fraud in anything. I mean, everything, there's going to be fraud. Now, the question is there enough fraud to actually affect?
There could have been. We've had extremely close elections,
So far, they've said it's such a small percentage that it has no effect right now.
But the problem is, if you're going to, it's no one person in the United States has any more rights than another. So,
they're not in theory.
That's
theory,
the way it's
that
supposed
is not
to be.
true, though.
I think this. I totally wouldn't say that we're going to go back to where you have to have a test to vote. That's ridiculous. Okay, and that was outlawed through on the Bill of Rights. I totally don't think that's what we need to do.
Right.
But what I do believe we can do is show an identification. Show your registrar card. I have no problem with that.
My
and
only
that's
issue
not asking.
Is that gonna affect how many people vote? Because the whole idea.
Why would that vote?
Well, it's hard for me to understand why it would, but apparently it would.
Because you're not doing a unanimous. Right. I can see what you're saying, and
my issue is this going to keep? Because the whole idea, whether you're Republican or Democrat, you should want. The goal is 100% turnout.
Yeah.
You want.
It never happens, but that's what you want.
That's the goal. You want everybody to vote. And if you're going to do something that's going to limit people, why would you want to do that?
Bill's got a comment, you guys.
Yeah,
okay, sorry, Bill.
I was just going to say that you have to show an ID if you want to cash a check at the grocery store.
Sure.
Why does having to show an ID? Why does that suddenly make everybody go, well, I'm not going to vote? I'm in trouble.
Well, I don't know.
You know why?
Because I have a hard time understanding it. It does, though, and I don't know why either. I don't have a hard time understanding that because I have a hard time understanding that because I show my ID for everything anyways, and I don't have a problem with that. But for some reason, some people do. I don't know why.
Well, what they're trying to say is that when you go in to vote, that it's anonymous. But it's really not anonymous because you check your name off. If you're a Republican, you get a Republican ballot. If you're a Democrat, you get a Democratic ballot.
In the primaries.
In the primaries. And what I'm saying is, it's not really anonymous, So what are you afraid of? I mean, they're not there checking to see if you have warrants.
Right, but I know that there are.
Your ballot is anonymous.
Yeah, the ballot's anonymous, and that's perfect.
There are some
how you vote.
Exactly.
There are been some campaigns in the past that have tried to make people think that if you have outstanding tickets or stuff like that, they will catch you when you go to vote.
Except you still have to give your name. So what's the difference? Yeah. And why would they do that? That's stupid.
Hey guys, let me give you some information on the provisional ballots. They are used to record a vote when in regards to the voter's eligibility. Say they don't have an ID where you have to show one. The voter's name's not on the roll. The registration includes inaccurate information, or the voter's record has already been recorded, like you're saying.
Right.
Now, what it says about how they are counted, it says, whether a provisional ballot is counted is contingent upon the verification of the voter's eligibility. Many voters do not realize that the provisional ballot is not counted, this is what we were talking about, until 7 to 10 days after the election. So their vote does not affect the calling of the states to different candidates.
Right.
So, it's not that they're not counted. They're not counted until everything's already been called.
Okay, that's good too. So I have no problem with them looking into an identification, Hey, and Bill, I really apologize that we're kind of talking over. For some reason, we can't hear you very well. So
sorry about that.
No, it's not you. It's not you. I'm sure it's that it has to be raised up through the system, I guess.
Always a new issue.
Yeah, there's always something. I hope it comes through.
All right, let's move on.
Yeah, let's go on to, let's skip...
you don't want to do the IRS thing?
Well, yeah, actually, I think we should.
I thought that was a good one.
It's a funny one. Right now it's tax season, and a week from today is the 15th, and people are all a little bit nervous about, doing their taxes and getting them out there and everything like that. Well, actually, a week from today is the 16th, but it's tax days next Monday.
Next Tuesday, I think you get an extra day for some reason.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
It is the 17th this year.
Yeah.
Ah, wow!
I filed my taxes already, so.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, when you're like you file right away.
I'm not a good American.
Yeah.
And I didn't.
And how much did you pay? Anyway,
a lot, actually.
On the IRS form, if you accept a bribe, if you accept illegal monies from drugs, if you accept illegal gambling, and this is illegal. I'm saying illegal just in case people don't hear this. You're required to file that number.
To report it.
Report it. So if you get bribes, and this is for all you building inspectors in New York, if you get bribes, you need to report that. Now, how stupid is this that anybody's going to do it? And you know what's really funny is Al Capone said, I don't have to declare illegal money because it's illegal.
It's illegal.
But he went to jail for it.
Right.
So I think it's really funny that that's even on there. I think it's another one of the dumb things the government does is spend money. I
don't know. What are they doing to spend money? That's ridiculous to say that.
I really believe that no one ever puts down their illegal money. And I think it's just stupid. And when you sent this to me today, and especially when it came from MSNBC, I figured right then and there, it's just a dumb thing that MSNBC wants to do because they have no real news, and that's something they wanted to set out there.
It's just an article that I saw. I thought it was funny. I think it's funny that it's really funny how it's like they require, let me tell you something. If you at your regular job made $20,000 last year, and you made $100,000 selling weed, and you report that on there, and you pay your taxes like the good citizen that you are, what do you think is going to happen?
The DA is going to come knocking down your door. That's exactly what's going to happen. I mean, what do you think about this, Bill? Just a stupid thing that MSNBC did? Or?
Oh, you don't blame it on MSNBC. I'm sure it was on other websites, too.
Except that you sent it to me from MSNBC, so that means it's stupid.
All right, let Bill go.
What do you think, Bill?
Well, as far as MSNBC goes, I don't give them a whole lot of, credit.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Fox News gets a lot of credit, though, right?
Huh?
I'm sure Fox News gets a lot of credit, though.
Yeah, well, I like them a little bit better, yeah, but...
What a shock.
You know what? Well, if I can shift backwards just a minute, it seems kind of ironic to me that the government wants you to give every last little financial detail of your life to them on a tax form, but they get all nervous if you have to show an ID to vote.
That, you know what? That's a funny way to put it together. He's absolutely right. I mean,
a little bit opposed to each other there.
That's because government has nothing but hands that are out there.
Well, I was actually,
and then in part of the government, the liberal side has the hands over the eyes. So that's basically the way it works.
I was listening to somebody on a sports station last week, and he was talking about, the government, when they busted Al Capone, they were almost bragging, like, haha, we couldn't get him on this, so we got him on this. And he said, that's not anything to brag about. The fact that it almost says that if the government wants to put you in jail, they can find something, because there's so many laws, there's so many regulations.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm not sure that that's something to brag about, like, we couldn't get him for everything everybody knew he was doing, but we got him on a technicality, ha ha ha, we outsmarted him. I'm not sure if that's something to brag about. All right, let's move on. We spent enough time with this already.
Let's talk about Senator Grassley. Senator Grassley is the senator for, I think it's Iowa, I believe, right? Iowa? Is it Iowa?
Grassley?
Grassley? How do you say his name? Grassley is Grassley.
Okay.
I think that's Grassley.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, you jerk, wasted my time. Anyway, this week, Senator Grassley, who is a Republican, said something derogatory about the president, which would be fine if he didn't use the word stupid. I didn't like the fact that he used the word stupid. Now, I don't agree with President Obama on 98% of the stuff. Are we close to there? I think the only thing I ever agree is when he says hello. That's about it. But anyway, if you're a senator, or again, I think this goes back right to the same, right to the Marine.
I think it's a little different, actually.
Really? Okay.
Yeah,
well,
I think it's a little different. I mean, I think that if you're, first of all, if you're going to show, if you're going to say that you think Barack Obama's stupid, that just is going to show how stupid you are.
Why?
Because he's not stupid.
Well, what is stupid?
He's not stupid.
What is stupid? I mean, what do you couldn't say who's stupid, who isn't stupid, because stupid is a stupid word.
Chuck Grassley could.
Well, I'm saying that he shouldn't have said stupid. I would probably have said that he's ignorant in certain things, or I would say that
everybody's ignorant in stupid.
Well, but stupid. I mean, stupid is just
he makes
dumb word.
He makes stupid choices.
Yeah.
The thing
wrong decisions.
Yeah. Going back to the words, just to say first of all, anytime anybody just throws out a general term, that person is stupid. It's lazy.
Yeah, of course.
That's
because
just
you didn't do any research
lazy.
into what it is.
You're just saying, you're just being lazy.
I got a definition for you.
Okay, give us a definition of stupid.
Stupid means, the first definition is lacking ordinary quickness and keenness of mind. Now, I don't think that that's an appropriate word to use for Obama, whether you like him or not.
Correct.
Because if he was stupid, he wouldn't be able to give speeches that make people believe things that he says.
Right. The Kool-Aid. He wouldn't be able to sell the Kool-Aid if he was stupid. And he does sell the Kool-Aid because you have drunk the Kool-Aid. So, what do you think about that, Bill? The word stupid from a senator.
Well, I think it was like Littleboy said, it was just it's a derogatory term to throw out there. It doesn't really have any data to back it. Obviously, the guy's smart. He went to Harvard.
Yeah.
He's a lawyer. He knows a few things, and he's quick on his feet. He's an easy talker, so that's not something that indicates to me that he has a lack of keenness of mind, right?
Right.
So as far as talking about the press, talk about anyone that represents me, they're kind of how do you put it? They're the authorities of the land, and you got to have some respect for them, no matter what you feel about them. I mean, you can very respectfully disagree with, like you said, 98% of what he's doing without being derogatory or disparaging or throwing on attacks that attacks that don't really have any merit.
But what's really funny about that, Bill, is I completely agree with what you're saying. And the thing that's really funny is that Littleboy and I talk about the president, and I'm always saying the president, the president, the president. I hardly ever call him by his name because I think that that's very disrespectful. But I have seen other people. I've seen people, especially when President Bush was in office. They called him just Bush.
You call him Obama all the time.
Come on. How many times have I said President, or I'll say Obama, say President Obama, because and what do I say? I always hold to the highest thing is the office.
Right.
And you have said that.
You've said that.
And that is something that I have found, and this wasn't where I actually wanted the conversation to go, but this is interesting because I'd like to ask. You have a very hard time saying President Bush. It almost hurts your face.
I don't say President Obama either.
Well, why is that? Because you have lack of respect for the office,
I don't think that it's lack of respect. I just think it's a familiarity.
Why?
I don't know. It's just, to me, it's just like the same thing.
Do you have respect for the office? Do you have the same kind of respect that I have for the office?
No.
Why not?
Because I think that they're humans, and you can.
I'm not talking about I'm not talking about the person. I'm talking the office.
Just because he's the president, just because he is in the office of the president, doesn't mean that he is beyond criticism.
I didn't say him. I said the office. Did you hear what I said?
I don't understand.
Do you have respect for the office of president.
Sure I do.
Whether who's in it or not.
Sure I do.
Now, I'm not saying the guy. I'm saying the office.
You can't criticize him. And when I
I have no problem criticizing
you
it.
used to always tell me, no, you can't. You're supposed to have respect for the president and all that stuff. And now that was fine until he wasn't president anymore. And then all that all went out the window for you. You started criticizing Obama like weeks into his
I have no
term.
problem criticizing the administration. What I'm talking about is respect for the office of president. You're having a hard time.
I don't understand what you mean. I don't understand what the difference is.
You're having a hard time differentiating what I'm talking about.
You explain it to me then.
Okay.
How can you...
The office of president I hold as a sacred place. It's sacred.
There's only one.
And that's it.
Right.
And it's the most powerful person in the world, in the whole globe, right?
Okay.
So I hold the office of president to the utmost standard, which means no matter who's in there, they will always have my respect as president. I don't like the word stupid. I wouldn't say that about him. I mean, in President Jimmy Carter, I couldn't stand his administration. I've done research afterwards. It's a ridiculous administration. He's still a president. We talked about Clinton. Same thing. President Clinton. He was sick. Now Clinton's different because I actually like some of the stuff he did. But still, when he was sick, I felt really bad that he's sick.
Well, yeah.
President Obama. But it's the office. I'm talking about the office of president. You don't have the same respect
I don't understand
as I do.
I don't... I hold differentiate like you do, I guess. I don't know.
Bill, can you understand what I'm talking about?
I'll tell you this. Let's get back to the whole point at hand, anyways.
Well, now let's ask Bill. Bill, do you understand what I'm talking about? Is he there? Did we lose him?
I believe we lost Bill.
That's okay. Just go ahead and kill number 4 then.
Here's the thing.
Or number 7, 8.
I think if you're in Congress or you're a senator or whatever, you can. I think when you say the president's stupid, that says more about you than it says about him anyways, to be honest with you. But I don't think that you can say whatever you want. It's a little bit different. I think it's a little bit different than being in the military. I don't think it's the same. I don't think it's the same. If you start, when people get in arguments and you start name calling and stuff like that, that says more about the person who's calling the names, I think, than the person who's being called the name. That's what I think.
There's something I want to talk about, and I think we're on the same page with this. I want to talk about this real quick. We're over 30 minutes.
And I got a tweet question I got to get to.
Oh, okay.
Also.
We'll throw out the tweet real quick just in case, because this might take long.
Are you changing subjects?
I completely changing subjects.
I got a tweet from San Diego Joe. Let me find it here now. I lost it. Okay. And he says, this is going to Susan G. Komen. It says, I think it's BS that Susan G. Komen runners must raise $2,000 to run. If they don't run. Do you have any thoughts on that? Now,
isn't it their thing?
Well,
don't they set the whole thing up?
Well, it's saying you have to raise $2,000 to run. I don't quite think that that's right.
That is true. When you sign up, you pledge to earn or raise or donate a specific amount of money. It's almost like around $2,000.
This is for the 3-day, though, isn't it?
Correct. That is the
Susan
Coleman
this is for the 3-day.
Right.
Right.
And what it is you have to guarantee that money with a credit card or a way that you're going to pay for it if you, I'll check and see if that's Bill, if you do not come up with the money fundraising it.
Okay.
All right. Well, let's see. We got a call coming in.
We got a call coming in.
Yeah. Well, anyway, I want to talk about this real quick. I want to throw this out to you. Okay. And as far as
I think for the Susan G. Komen thing, I think that if that is the way it is, it's basically then if you don't like it, for me, I wouldn't be interested in that. I'm not interested in being forced to raise money. I'm already running for the cause. But
say hello to Bill when you have a second.
Oh, hey, Bill, you're back.
Hey, you're back.
I made it back. Sorry, guys, I jumped out.
We lost you. You know what? I'm glad you're back because this next subject I want to talk about, I want to talk about Susan G. Komen, but we are way into our time.
I know. Basically, and if you don't like it, don't do it.
Yeah,
I wouldn't do it.
Yeah, because it's not like a government-sponsored thing. So you know what? If you don't want it, don't do it.
I think
My sister does it.
I think it's BS to force it also.
Yeah.
So I would just not participate.
My sister does it.
Thanks for the question,
has
Joe.
to come up with the money, and I personally wouldn't do it. I couldn't do it anyway, but. I want to talk about this real quick. This is something that is not on the charts, but I have been listening. The Democrats believe, and most Republicans believe too, that Romney will be the nominee, right? So now what we're starting to see is, and we've talked about this before, he's a Mormon. So now they're starting to attack Mormonism. So what's happening is you're seeing some ads on the beliefs of Mormons. You're seeing some, and I completely cannot understand how they believe like they believe. And I know for you, being an atheist, it doesn't matter what religion they have.
Right.
You're going to say the same thing. I can't believe that you believe what you believe. So you're going to have the same thing. The question I have is, we all, well, you don't, but most people know that President Obama was raised Muslim.
I don't think that's true.
There's pictures of him in his prayer, whatever they call it, at mosques. So
I don't think that you're asking.
If you're asking in religions, if they really start to attack Romney for his Mormonism, is it okay to start bringing back the Muslim part of President Obama?
First of all, I don't think he's a Muslim. I don't know where everybody gets that from. I think it's okay to talk about anybody's. If you feel that is causing them from making good decisions as a representative of you, because he represents you and your country, then you have the right to question that.
So you have so you would have no problems if they start bringing out the stuff about President Obama being Muslim and then changing because it was hard. It's impossible to get a Muslim elected.
If they think that his beliefs negatively affect the office, then they have every right to bring that up.
What do you think, Bill?
Well, started attacking Romney over being a Mormon. Well, I think, I don't know, I haven't given this a whole lot of thought, but if it were me, I think if I were Romney, I'd take the high road and try to divert it back away from religion. I don't think someone's religious beliefs have a huge, or should have a huge play in the political arena.
Well, the reason why I'm asking
whether he can. Go ahead.
No, go ahead, Bill. Go ahead.
I was going to say it's whether he can he manage people well? Can he work with both sides of the aisle? Can he solve some of the problems, or at least throw some good ideas at some of the problems that we're having? Whether he goes to church on Sunday or has maybe he has a very private and personal relationship with God, and it doesn't have it. It's his personal belief. It doesn't really play into what he's going to be doing in the political arena.
Well, the reason why I'm asking,
try to go back to that.
Well, and you know what, Bill? I feel the same exact way that you feel. But the reason why I'm asking Littleboy this is because this issue that's going to happen with Romney has happened before to other presidents. And one president I wanted to kind of point out there was a Democratic president, JFK. Now, he was completely ridiculed by the Republican side for being a Catholic, saying that the Pope would have control over decisions. And
I think it's so funny, though, that, you hear about a lot of the stuff that JFK did on the side, and, for someone who was such a Catholic, he wasn't really a Catholic. And I have that same problem with a lot of people who say they're religious. They say they're religious, and they say all this stuff, but then they do whatever the heck they want to do. They'll
be judged at the end. Okay, that has nothing to do with it. What I'm talking about,
they won't be, but
in your mind. But what I'm saying is,
in your mind, they will.
And the reason why I bring this up is, do you think this is going to be an issue? Do you think this is going to come out? And do you think it has any bearing on? Because we talked before, Republicans are going to vote Republican. The ones that you can sway are Democrats, and you can sway independent voters.
You can sway Republicans too, just not as many. The issue is, I don't think it's going to really have that much of an effect. To be honest with you, I don't think religion is going to have that much of an effect. All presidents are religious. I don't know. I don't think that it's going to be the big deal that you do.
What do you think there, Bill?
I honestly don't think it's going to come into play. Look, in 2008, if anybody really wanted to make it a big deal, they could have then. I mean, his name alone tells you that he has some Muslim, at least, upbringing, if nothing else. Even if he's an avowed Christian now, his father was a Muslim and his grandfather was a Muslim, and
the name has nothing.
Was a Muslim.
The name has nothing to do with it.
Yeah, kind of, because.
So what if he has? What if the next 5 generations are all Christian, but they still have the Obama name?
It's not Obama. It's not the last name. It's his first and middle name.
So what if they each name their first son after their father, and it's Barack Hussein Obama the 10th, You know, is that still going to tell you that he's Muslim? That doesn't mean
tell
anything.
You of dissent.
No, but
what is dissent?
Exactly what you're saying, little boy. I don't think that plays into it. There's plenty of Christians that have Muslim names. It's just that that's the way that they were named.
Right.
But again, I get back to the point though that I don't think Romney's Mormonism or Obama's potential, well, whether it's Muslim or Christianity, I don't think that should come into play in the arena.
Exactly. But I think what they are going to, and the reason why I did this whole thing was, I think it's the same way. But I'm interested to see how the Democrats run it, because the ads are already starting with Romney, and I'm just interesting to see if that's what they're interested
we'll have to see if what he believes religiously is going to affect how he runs the office, then people can question that, I think, you know.
Well, you know what? I think if the Democrats start throwing those stones, they better watch out, because there's enough to go around for both sides.
Yeah, I think you have to. I think that
it would be foolish of them to bring it up, because it's only opening the door for Romney or the Republicans to come back the same way.
Yeah, and that's what I'd like to.
Plenty of ammunition.
There is, and I'd like to see that if that happens. You know, Republicans always kind of play it cleaner.
Oh,
but
bull!
I'd like to see.
Bull!
No,
BS.
that's not.
I almost just cussed. Bull! That is such bull. And you know it's bull.
And I would rather see that they keep it a little bit clean.
Bull. That
if
is
this happens this
garbage.
time, we're going to have to do it.
That is bull.
You hype and jump and get all hypey all the time.
You say stuff like that, and it's just crap.
No, it's not.
Crap.
Bill, what do you think?
Well, I personally, I think that the Republicans, they play it a little safer a lot of times. I don't see as much of the vitriol as I see the Democrats throwing.
Oh my God, I want to throw up right now.
Yeah. Boy, take as an example. Let's go back.
Have either one of you ever heard of Karl Rove before?
Why don't you listen?
In the 2010 election, I decided just for the fun of it. I'm a registered Republican, so you know where I'm coming from. But I was watching the results of the 2010 election. I was watching it on Fox. So I'm going to run over to MSNBC and see what they're doing over there, so that I can get a little bit of both sides. And they did nothing. They knew that the race was going to get handed to them by the Republicans. They did nothing but sit there and snipe and make snarky little comments about Michelle Bachmann, for instance. They called her a crazy loon or some crazy thing like that. And nothing, no analysis, no stand-up, political analysis. And after half an hour of that, I got sick and I had to turn it off. But that's what they were doing over at Fox.
Snipe and snarky comments.
Telling you the story.
You do watch Fox News, right? And you're complaining about snarky comments. That's all they do over there.
Show us one. You know what?
I can find plenty of them.
Find them.
You show me the ones on MSNBC.
Oh my God, I can find those all day long.
Do it.
You just turn it on. Turn it on to MSNBC.
Do it.
Some guys that do that.
Do it.
Some guys that go the snarky way, and I think Hannity's one of them. If I had to point somebody out.
They're all snarky. You ever watch Fox and Friends in the morning? That's the only show on Fox that I watch, because I'm at the gym in the morning. That's all they do.
Fox and Friends has a half liberal, half Republican.
All they do is make snarky comments. I watch every morning.
Bill, I completely agree with you, and so pretty much the rest of the world.
Not true.
We're going to end up this show now. Bill, I really appreciate you coming on the show. Thank you very much.
Thanks for having me on.
We got like 10 other stories.
Yeah,
but
we
do.
But we're in 40 minutes. We're done.
You don't want to talk about Pizza Hut?
No, we're not going to talk about Pizza Hut. And we're having some sound issues because I keep clicking in my ear real loud. Yeah. So I hope the video came out okay.
We'll find out.
Again, we want to thank our sponsor this week is goldandsilver.com. You can go to phatmanandlittleboy.com, click on any of the banners for gold and silver, and find out about investing in gold and silver. Now, gold dropped a little bit last week, but don't freak out, because I know it's going to hit record highs again this summer. Oh gosh, I wanted to talk about gas, all kinds of stuff. I know. You could always get in touch with me at phatmanlittleboy.com, and a new one today, phatman@reagan.com.
Oh, jeez.
Reagan.com is now for sale. You can buy your email through them. It's Reagan.com.
Why would you do that?
Why not? So now I have Phatman@Reagan.com.
Oh, boy.
You can always contact the show. You can always give us a call, 619-387-3457. Of course, we're always at Phatman Littleboy. You can get me on Twitter at Phatman Show.
You can reach me at Littleboy at phatmanandlittleboy.com. You can reach me at LBHost on Twitter. And I want to thank everybody on Twitter. I've been getting a ton of stuff on Twitter, and we've had so much to talk about. I haven't been able to get to all of it. Some of it's made me laugh, so I appreciate some of the comments on there. But keep tweeting in, because I promise you we will try and get to them, especially if we have a little bit of a slower show. We'll get to them, and if we get enough of them, we can do a show that's just all answering tweets, you know.
The tweet show.
But we got to get enough of them, and we got quite a bit. We could have probably done it today. Also, make sure that you call in, like Bill did, 619-387-3457. Call in anytime to the show. We did our roundtable sports show last week, and we had a lot of call-ins.
Yeah.
It was really neat. Yeah, we had to actually cut it off so we can actually get to the show.
But that was great.
The Pound for Pound guys have been getting some calls. It's really nice. It's really nice to interact with the people and hear what you guys have to say, and almost kind of throw a little bit of a curveball. You know, Joe with the Susan G. Coleman question came out of left field. Neither one of us were prepared for it. I like that type of stuff.
He does.
We just got to go right off of what we think. So I really like it. I really appreciate it. Don't forget to go to our new YouTube page.
Yep. That's youtube.com/PMLB Media. If you watch on YouTube, but it's better to watch it on phatmanandlittleboy.com. That's where you're going to get the high def.
Right.
So if you have that ability if you have high-speed internet, which most people have now,
right,
you want to watch it in high def so you can see the wrinkles on Little Boy's face.
And all the gray hair the fat man's given me.
Anyway, I think that's it. Good show.
Yeah.
Long show. Sorry about that, everybody.
Yeah, they're all long now.
And we'll see you real soon.
Take care.